I'm from Southeast London, so anyone above
Yeah,
the
I thought.
M25 is a northerner to me.
Yeah, I thought you sounded odd.
Odd, odd. Oh,
South River, mate. Fucking hell.
oh, so well. The thing is, though, in the UK, you go over the river, it's already a different twang.
Oh, north and south of London, totally different.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Arsenal, so I do support. Well, that's a bit biased, isn't it? Because we was a southeast team and now we're a northern team.
Oh well,
So
you can't.
hello, welcome to another episode of Sit Down for Stand Up. I have with me today Eddy Brimson. How's it going, Eddie? We good?
I'm very good, thank you. Lovely to talk to you, mate.
Honestly, lovely to talk to you. My go-to YouTube stuff I watch online, and whenever I can try and get there, is Comedy Unleashed. So
All right.
people who've been on there, I have a soft spot for.
Okay.
And
Okay. Yeah.
funnily enough, Nicholas DeSantos he uploaded one. They uploaded one yesterday, and I commented on it saying I would love to get Santos on. I've got a Chris Campbell coming on, and oh god, I'm gonna get killed for this. And I've got and Dominic Frisby coming on, and I spelt
Okay.
Dominic's name wrong. I forgot to put the I in it, and someone already
You'll love
commented
that.
on it. I hope he doesn't come on your podcast if you can't spell his name right. And you know
Okay.
the state of it already. Like if someone's gonna get pissed off because I forgot to put an I in their name whilst commenting whilst taking a shit on the toilet, I don't want to hear anyways. But
Yeah, fair
you know
enough.
that
Um,
gone.
just a quickie on the Comedy Unleashed, because already you'll get people go, oh fucking hell, you know. It really makes me laugh when people attack Comedy Unleashed but haven't got the balls to go down there and take it on. Because my politics, anyone will tell you, is very. I'm a socialist. When I did Comedy Unleashed, the abuse I got, because everybody thinks it's this, that, and the other. It's possibly the most diverse crowd you'll find. You'll see people of every sort of nationality or background there. Um, and anything goes, and they're all there to have a laugh. And you can say anything, don't matter what you're pointing at, as long as it's the big rule in comedy: never punch down. And if you're going to say it, believe it. But comedy can be a really useful tool. But people who just go, oh, it's shit, it's all right wing. It's not all right wing at all. I'm as left as you can be, right? The Labour Party, I can't fucking stand this Labour Party. I'm
Yeah.
very, very far, far left. Um, and so I go in there and take it on. But
Yeah.
you're not really taking on anyone because, as I say, it's probably the best demographic of a comedy audience that you'll find. And yet
I've
people
been
just
there.
go, yeah, it's
I've,
fucking amazing. The crowd in there are
mm,
amazing. You'll see people from every sort of background in that club. Whenever I've only done it a couple of times, but whenever I've done it, it's like this is the most diverse audience I can find, and they're all up for it because they realise that it's comedy. It's a lot of, and I understand some of the people who do go on there, but don't if you're not prepared to go and take it on, don't go. Same with GB News, right? I've done GB News twice. The first time I did it, they didn't warn me that because I really attacked people who were having a go at the train drivers. I was
mm,
because I'm 100% behind the train driver strike when they were on strike. Because if I've got someone driving a fucking 200-ton piece of metal and I'm sitting at the back and it's going 150 miles an hour, I want the person at the front to know what they're fucking doing. And they should get paid a lot of money and they should get paid more money. So I went on there giving it all that and they couldn't believe it. And when I come out, they didn't warn me. I put my phone on, my Twitter account had just gone, fucking, who's this lefty shit? Fucking get him off. We never want to see him again. But my point being, don't sit at a keyboard and tap around, call everyone left or right wingers. Don't call me a right winger. If you're
mm,
really that bothered about it, go on and say what you've got to say and believe in it and stand your corner and take them on. That's
yeah.
what comedy's about. We're meant to hold a mirror up to people if you're that kind of comic. That depends whether you're that kind. Usually I'm not, right? I've done all my political stuff and stuff that happened to me before. That's not my style because you've evolved as a comic over the years. But don't just sit there and say everybody's this, that. If you're that really political and you want to go on a keyboard and say that as a comic, get off your ass and go and do it actually in the arena and see if actually you can stand by convictions of what you believe in. If you haven't, lay off the fucking keyboard. Simple.
Yeah, I do think no matter how far left you are, you're always right to someone. And I think
Oh
that
yeah,
is,
yeah, yeah. You can't win.
yeah, no
You're never
matter
going to
what,
win.
someone will call you right wing. Like you can
Yeah,
believe in
yeah.
99 out of 100 things that left people stand for, but that one thing you're a little bit on the fence about. Oh no, off you go. You know.
That's all you're going to be. That's all you're going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That's
And also, I
comedy
don't understand
for you,
people
mate.
who slagged off the train drivers, but no one's ever gone for pilots. It's like your life's still in the hands, no matter what. Like, you never hear them slagging off a pilot whilst on the flight, do you?
No, not really. No, it's a weird one. It's a really weird one with comedy in a way. This does seem to be this thing that's developed over the years. You're either not just in comedy, but it is very comedians want to be seen on the right side of everything.
Mm.
Especially newer comedians, they reckon, oh, this is what I've got to do to get on. And but the reality of that is not everything's black and white, and it's not. You can have an eye, you can agree with this on that side, and you can agree on that on that side sometimes. It's nothing. It's not. But the way we are at the moment is you have to be all in there or you're all in there, and life in reality isn't like that. And again, I come back to it. We've gone into this early, and I'm sorry I've gone off on a rant. But comedy's job is to hold a mirror up sometimes to society. And sometimes you have to get in people's faces to make them think about stuff. So, anyway.
What happens to the person who just doesn't give a shit? I mean, there's things I care about, but 99% of stuff I don't give a shit about. I've got my own personal issues, but I feel like you have to have an
No,
opinion on something.
no, you don't. No, no, you don't. As a comedian, you don't have to. There's all sorts of different styles of comedy. But if you're going to go online and attack those people, for doing that show or doing that club, well, do you know
Mm.
what? Then you get off your arse and take them on in the arena rather than just sit here and do it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, before I go into like the usual flow of things, I'll ask a question I usually ask quite near at the end. Do you think new comedians should do every room possible, or do you think you should, with this day and age, you sort of know the audience that are going to like you and they're going to dislike you?
No, you've got as a comic, the biggest thing the biggest thing you need, no matter how long you've been in the business, is stage time. You have to get on stage. And if you just want to pick and choose your clubs because you think your stuff's going to go that well there, or then you're not really going to become a fully rounded comic, in my opinion, because you have to learn how to deal with different audiences, different rooms, different vibe in the room that night. I mean, you can go and do a club like Comedian Brighton used to have an upstairs, downstairs. You do in the London clubs, you do an early and late show back in the day. It's the same material, same room,
Yeah.
different audience, totally different reaction. And you need to learn how to play all that. The only way to do that is stage time. Stage time is everything. Second most important thing, watch other comics. Watch other comics. Don't just turn up and do your 10 minutes and go. Watch other comics. Even if you don't like what they're doing, you'll get an idea of how they're playing the room and the way they might adapt to the people in that room, because you've got to play the crowd. You've got to watch the vibe. I did a gig last night and I hadn't done a gig like this for years. It was a free gig. I haven't done a non-paying gig for years in Sheffield. There were two comics come to do the middle spot, doing tens. The first one who did the 10 didn't even stop to watch the other 10. The second she come off stage, she picked her coat up and walked out. And I just thought, the only thing you've learned there is how your stuff goes, but you haven't watched anybody else play this room. And you need to do that. You really need to do that as a new comic.
Also, it's etiquette as well. Unless there's some extreme mitigating circumstances, I think it's also just polite. They watch you, even like people who leave after the first half and stuff. It's just it's respect and common courtesy this day and age.
It was really weird because the stay where we were standing was literally 5 feet away from where the mic was. There was no stage. It was in a pub. And she come off, and her coat was on a chair by the side of the stage. She come off, picked the mic, picked her coat up, and the compere had just gone on and go, that's so-and-so, so-and-so. Are you ready for your next act? Literally done that. And he walked on, and she just turned to the comrades to come off. She goes, "Thanks for having me," and walked straight out the door. And I just thought, wow, that's. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she had to get a train. I don't know, but it happens a lot with. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I've seen everybody. And by the way, let's get this out of the way. There'll be an awful lot of people watching or listening to this who have no idea who I am, because I'm not based in London. I don't come down and do London. I used to live in town when I started out. But I've been doing it 25 years. It's all I do. I travel all around the world. I've been around the world numerous times. So for anyone who don't know what I'm doing, who's never heard of me, that's fine, because it's, there's different things. But I can only come at this from where I started, and also from a male perspective, because I'm married to a female. I'm married to a female.
I'm your pronoun, sorry.
I'm married to Lou Confran. She's my partner. And when we got together, we've been together 5 years, I became aware of how very, very different the comedy world is for men compared to women. So I can only speak from my point of view, but I know it's a very, very different and very difficult world for female comics. That said, this whole thing about the sisterhood is absolute fucking bollocks.
At least if you're funny, you're funny though.
Yeah, at least with the blokes, you know where you stand, mate. I'm not even the funniest in my own house. You know what I mean? And I'm fully aware of that. So there you go.
Okay. So so you say it's different between North and South. I've got to be honest with you. The people I've had on the podcast the most, and I haven't had the luck to travel up north yet, but I'm so excited to see the circuit comedians up north. The ones I've spoke to are just they're brilliant. That it seems like there's less of a filter. They more talk about what they want to talk about, and I'm just excited to go up there and see them.
I think what it is up here is there's not as much playing the game. London's all about, you've got to be seen to be doing the right gigs. You've got to be playing the game. It's all about social media, getting that up here. There's so many clubs up in and around here. And also, because of what Liverpool's created through hot water and all that, it's a very different vibe. Because whatever people think about hot water, for me, they changed comedy. They made it so much better for comics, in that suddenly all the gatekeepers are gone. You can do it on your own. You don't need, TV's dead, TV's done. You don't need those people anymore. So the when they used to have you by the balls, they've proved up here you don't need to do that. So you are a bit freer to go and do and be yourself on stage and just crack on with it, because there's a lot of gigs up here.
The Hot Water podcast is one of the reasons I started doing this one myself. Mm-hmm. I thought the lads there are absolutely brilliant. The only thing I thought was never spoke about was, how for newer comedians and how they can get into comedy and their advice. And so that was the angle I wanted to go different, but I agree. I've said a couple of times, I think Paul Smith is currently the #1 crowd worker in the country.
Well, maybe.
Challenge.
Paul's brilliant at what he does, right? And he changed things. But also Paul, I think he'd be fully aware of this, he's created a bit of a monster, because now there's a lot of punters who sort of think that's what stand-up is. What Paul does is what stand-up is. And also that Paul was the first one to ever do it, and he wasn't. He's very good at it. He's very, very good at it. And he's fucking amazing. And with Paul, he's exactly, you get what you see. He's a lovely fella. He's exactly the same on and off stage. He's an absolute diamond. But and he is really good at it. But he's opened the floodgates, and what they did. I think he's got more clips than any other comic in the world online.
Matt Rife, #1.
Is he? Oh, well, he's certainly up there.
Yeah,
he's certainly up. But Paul, earlier this year, we was out in Perth doing the festival in Australia. Paul was over. He did 2 nights in Perth in a 5,000 arena and sold it out. No telly, no management as such, no big machine behind him. And that is something that's they've had the 2 people in my time who've had the biggest influence on stand-up comedy is Jimmy Carr and Hot Water.
Okay.
They're the people who've changed it. Jimmy changed it originally because this would be very hard for any newer comics or anyone under the age of probably 40 to understand. That when I started 25 years ago, the big club was Jongleurs. There were 17 of them around the country, and you did Thursday, Friday night. The money was brilliant, but it was all about being the best stand-up. And people started slagging them off. I've shared a Jongler stage with Kevin Bridges, Sarah Millican, Mickey Flanagan, Jimmy Carr, Lee Mack. They all went through Jongler. Everybody did. Because it was all about being the best comedian. And then Jimmy come along and he went, well, if you do these clubs every week, you can only make so much money. So what I need to do is be on telly. And he started all the panel shows, Live at the Apollo, McIntyre, all of those. Jimmy was the one who went, no, it's not just about being on stage. We need to make money. That's how we do it.
Okay.
He had the master plan. And then all the panel shows that are on now, everything that's on, you can trace that back to Jimmy going, well, fuck this, I need to earn more money than that.
And then, do you think social media has also had an impact with? I think social media has killed people's attention spans. So one-line comedians, like crowd work, they're very short clips, short and efficient. Boom, you watch it, you move on. So do you think social media's had an impact on the comedy world?
Social media massively, right? And I'm not one of those comics who would say, oh, it's not comedy. It is comedy. It's just a different style of comedy. Okay. But a lot of people are getting very famous very quickly. You only need one clip to go kaboom.
Yeah.
And again, let's get this out of the way. As much as I understand stand-up comedy live, I don't understand social media. But what I do know is it has changed the industry, because you can become very famous very quickly. And then people get taken on by the big agents. They start going out into the clubs, and it's a totally different ball game live. It's very, very different. I'm not saying it's not funny. There's some incredibly funny people on social media, but it's a different medium. It's a different type of comedy. So what you need to do as a stand-up, if you're starting out, you need to decide what way you want to go, right? Because again, I go back to hot water. If you just want to be a big star on social media, fucking brilliant, go for it. Put all your energy into that. If you want to be the best stand-up, you need to get in your car and you need to travel and you need to put the hours in on stage. And if you do that and no social media, as Paul Smith, Adam Rowe, Dan Nightingale, Jamie Hutchinson, all those have proved, if you can blow up on social media, then people come to see you live and you can get on stage and you can deliver, then that's where the money is. It's all about touring now. It's not about telly. It's all about touring and getting your clips out. You start to do them big tours, big arenas, that's where the money is.
And how would you say comedy's different between watching it, online, on your TikTok, on your Instagrams, to actually going to the clubs?
Well, the live experience is totally different, isn't it? Being in the room is totally different. And also, small rooms are great. Comedy's meant to be in small rooms. It's not meant to be in massive arenas. It's meant to be in rooms.
Poorly lit basements.
Basements are the perfect. Someone said something on that the perfect comedy room is downstairs in a low ceiling basement that's dark. And someone complained, said, that's really disableist. You know what I mean? You always have someone complain.
There's always one.
It's not being disableist at all. But
also, can I place a bet that person wasn't disabled who said that?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't fucking care. It's just give me a decent comedy club. But smaller rooms, smaller theatres. When you get into the arenas, for me, that's a very different comedy experience, I think. But anyway, yeah.
Oh, Alistair Barry said it to me. He said, like when you pay £60 to go see a comedian, you've already got the expectation you're going to laugh. But the people who do it week in, week out, who they've never heard of you, and you go and kill it, that is the rawest, truest of skill.
Oh, totally, totally, yeah. And there is that element about it. You get it all the time. It's really funny. Stand up was going through a real great phase. It was like up until about mid-April this year, clubs were really busy. It was like, oh, people have decided that they want live again. They go in and watch comics live, and then the hot weather hit, and it's just fucking falling off a cliff. But I think the live experience when people do go is it's really in your face, especially if they're used to watching it on TikTok, and they're knocked out by it. Actually knocked out by the level.
It is crazy because I've only been doing comedy for about 3 months. I'm as fresh as they come. And I thought, open mics, 5 minute spots, 10 minute spots, they're going to be dog shit, but they're not. The level, even at amateur hour, is phenomenal.
Oh, there's some great people out there. And I have to say, I mentioned this about the girl who went on last night. She was great. She was great, but she could have learned a lot more about the night. I mean, she was new, but she did really well. She had a good 10 minutes. But yeah, it's a really good standard. I used to live in Scotland. I spent 5 years living in Edinburgh.
Oh, yeah.
The standard up there was really good because there was so few clubs that to get a 10-minute, 5 minute, you had to be good. To get asked back to come do, okay, you did well. So the standard up there was very good. Some great comics up in Scotland.
I'll do much. How and why did we even get into comedy in the first place? It's been 25 years this year.
What it
How and
was
why?
I used to write books. I used to write books about football. Spoken about this a lot, and then I was doing little bits of. I started doing little bits of TV presenting, but I was pissed off. Everything I'd done before, I was doing it with someone else, and when it got to the crux of things, in bands they just said, "Oh, I can't go on tour. I can't leave my job." It's like, well, that's what we've been gearing up to, trying to go on tour, and with the writing, and I was doing it with someone else. I got let down there, so I've just thought I need something that is just me. If it is sink or swim. If it goes well, fine. If it goes badly, I've got no one else to blame except for me. I can't fuck myself over, although you do on stage every now and again. But and someone just gave me a leaflet down a pub for a comedy course. I went and did that. Did the first gig, which was 10 minutes, and I thought I was a genius. Did the second gig, tanked like you wouldn't fucking believe. And then it's just in my nature to go, well, I've got to prove the first one wasn't shit. And so I got the bug. I was living in London then. I could do a lot of little tryouts. I got the bug, and that was it. And then I got lucky breaks. Things came up which I weren't really ready for. Said, can you do this? I need someone to do this. Be here in the next hour. And I weren't really ready for it. But you go, yeah, I'll do it. And you get on, you do it, get away with it.
Okay. Without sounding like a young handsome young man, I'll say young 3 times now. How did you go about getting gigs before all the forums?
It was just a matter. There were certain gigs in London that you needed to do, and so you just go down, show your face, and try and get on, let them know that you was about. One thing I would say is I made a decision very, very quickly that the only ones that were worth doing were the ones that would help me progress. I wasn't interested in going to do a gig where it was another, there was another 15 comics and that was the audience and there was nowhere on from there. It was, go and do the gigs like the King's Head, the Comedy Caf back then, stuff, the ones that would help me move forward. And then the other thing, I got in the car and I go anywhere for stage time for certain promoters. And I drove to Plymouth for 10 minutes for no money and back, done stuff, loads of that, because that was how to do it back then. That was how to get on.
What are your thoughts on currently on the London scene where for open mic, open new comics and everything, bringer spots?
Well, I don't get down to London very much now, but I think that's disgraceful, really.
I mean, there's 144 clubs in London. I've got my Excel sheet. and only about 40 of them are non-bringers.
Yeah, well, that's horrendous.
That's
That's
yeah.
horrendous. I'd say concentrate on the ones that are that will help you progress. But again, it's a real tough one because stage, as I said earlier, stage time is everything. So you need to get on. But I wouldn't. If I was starting out now, I wouldn't do a bring a gig. No chance.
I don't either. I've sort of said that as my religion now. Like, yeah, no matter what, I've got to have my integrity. And also, I don't think none of my friends would want to come. And if they wanted to, they'd want to chat to me. So come see me and then sit in silence for the next 2 hours, please.
But it also demonstrates to me that for the promoter or for the venue, it's more about selling beer than it is about the comedy.
See, I challenged this because I said to one of them, like, I own a pub. I was an American football player and a rugby player. I can tank them. And I said, well, look, I can't bring anyone, but I'll tell you, I'll buy 10 pints, 2 before and 8 after. But it didn't matter. They just wanted another bum on the seat.
Yeah. No, that's not. Yeah, I don't think that's the way to do it. But again, the London scene, I don't know it at all. It's very, very different when I started out. Very different.
So we've been in comedy a while. I want to ask, what is the worst joke you've done on stage, looking back in hindsight, that you thought was golden at the time?
I used to do this sketch because I used to compare a lot for back in the day for jonglers, and I used to do this sketch to the Venga Boys, where I'd put on a white cagoule, white beanie hat, dark glasses, and I'd start dancing and do this DJ thing. And some of the lines in it, fuck it, you'd never get away with it, ever get away with it now. And I've seen it. I mean, I'm going back 20 years when I was doing that, and even my mates now still fucking rib me. But I used to do it before bringing an act on. Sometimes used to go really, really well, and the actor would go, "What? I've got to follow music, and you doing that," and the audience all going,
What song was it? What Bigger Boy song was it?
What?
Boom, 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 boom. I want you in my room. Yes, okay.
It was fucking brutal, absolutely brutal. Yeah, and that's probably why when TV kicked in, I never got asked to do TV for that one thing. Yeah, brutal.
I mean, that's
brutal.
brilliant.
And
You want to bring it back now?
Never. The worst thing, I remember doing it at Jonglers in Camden one Saturday night, and there was it's like 360 people. It's fucking round, and it's quite a big build up to it while I get in the gear. And then I go stand there and like a 2 minute, well, a minute build up of like, and everyone's see, where's this fucking going? And then go somewhere, play the music, and the CD got stuck and it wouldn't work. So I was just stuck there in fucking uniform. Actually, I did a worse one than that, right? An ex-girlfriend of mine, I went to a gig in Slough. An ex-girlfriend of mine was really into, every now and again you make these mistakes. She was really into fancy dress. We had a fancy dress Halloween party, and she made this massive pumpkin outfit. So the next night, I'm doing a gig in Slough. So I went on in the pumpkin outfit and just went, oh, just me, wrong night. Nothing, right? Quite rightly, nothing. And they just looked at me and go, why is
an embarrassment from 25 years ago?
Yeah, why is he dressed as a pumpkin? And the outfit, and there's nowhere to go. Once you've got it on, there's nowhere to go. So the jokes,
that was tag.
20 minutes to stand up in a pumpkin outfit, doing my normal jokes. And people going, why is it a pumpkin outfit? That doesn't make sense. Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. So obviously you must have also seen a load of other comics. What is the worst thing you've seen someone do on stage where they've just lost the crowd?
Again, do you know Brendan Burns?
Yeah.
Brendan Burns was on stage in London, and they hated him. Like there were people I don't like seeing people I know die. Right, but if it's someone I really like, I'm more than happy to watch them die. Right, if it's someone I really get on with. But Brendan, used to rile it, and I wouldn't usually watch someone die, but Brendan was Marmite, really.
Yeah.
A lot better now than he was then. He was very cocky back then. But anyway, he's tanking so badly. People are standing up, shouting to him, "Fuck off, get off the stage." And then for some reason he went, "Oh, it seems like some of you don't like me. Well, we live in a democracy. Let's have a vote." And I was like, he can't be fucking serious. And he went, "Who wants me to leave?" And the whole audience went, "Yeah." And he went, "Oh, well, I'm staying anyway." And he stayed. But they were baying for him to get off. I've never seen people stand. It's the only time I've seen punters standing up, telling someone fuck off the stage. But he didn't leave. He goes, "Can you see any sweat here?" No, so I'm carrying on.
I've got to respect
Then,
that. I've got to respect like the fuck you to the crowd a little bit because
well, the thing with Brendan, to be fair, is Brendan thought he was really clever, and a lot of the times he wasn't telling them anything they didn't know. Do you know what I mean? And he'd come off and go, "They're really thick," and you're like, "Brendan, you haven't told them anything they don't know already." So it was a bit like that.
So, when on stage, because, we've all had bad gigs. When it's not going well, how do you try and win the crowd back?
Well, someone said something to me years ago. I was going through a very bad run of gigs, and I was fucking not hitting it at all. And I come off stage and I just went, "Fucking not again." And an actor went to me, he goes, "You didn't enjoy that, did you?" And I goes, "No, of course I fucking didn't." He goes, "Yeah, you could see because you didn't smile once on stage." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So the next night I went on and I was tanking again, but I just put a smile on, like I weren't bothered. And in a weird way, you get the audience sort of go, "He's shit, but he isn't bothered. So maybe he's not as shit as we think he is."
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? So you can kind of win people over, but also there's a confidence thing where if you just sort of go, "I know this ain't going well, you know this ain't going well, but you know what? I've got another 10 minutes, so we might as well fucking get on with it." That's the best way to deal with it. Or if it's going really shit and you're booked for 20 minutes, just come off. You don't have to do. If you're dying, just help everybody out. And if it gets to 15, go, "Do you know what? This ain't going nowhere."
Okay.
You know.
So say if
So
you've got go on, sorry.
no, go on. So it's about confidence on stage.
Mm.
It don't matter, and again, it don't matter how long you've been doing it, you'll still make the same fuck ups I do. If it's going badly, don't speed up. If anything, slow down. If the noise in the room is massive, don't talk louder, talk quieter, because then people will go, "Oh, what's he saying?" They'll focus more. But even then, I still make those mistakes every now and again. Everybody does. Because here's another thing. Everybody dies. Everybody dies. It'll happen to you over and over. It just does happen. Right? It's part of stand-up. No matter what level you're at, you'll have nights where they just go, "This is shit tonight." But one of the most important things in stand-up is learning how to deal with death, because it hits you. It will, just when you think you're brilliant and you're the best comic out there, you'll do a gig and you'll get a massive kick in the bollocks, and it's exactly what you need because you just got too cocky.
Okay. The question I was going to ask is not as relevant now, but it was so say you've got a 10-minute set, 20-minute set. What's like the duration you can go over and under that usually? So they say like I'm looking for a 20-minute. Can you do 18 minutes? Can you do 25 minutes? Like what's like the average?
Some promoters are really sharp on length of set. Some are a bit loose. Some will just go, and the good promoters will go, "Look, if it's going well, do another couple of minutes. If it's not going well, don't push it. If it's not going well, the good promoters are really looser on your time. But there's some that are bang on, and if you don't do it, they'll give you a bollocking. And they want bang on 20. Don't overrun, or whatever you do, don't underrun.
Okay. What's your opinion on, competitions as a gateway into comedy, into paid sets? Like you like your gong shows and stuff.
Well, I've gong shows come about after I sort of established myself. So I've never done one. I think they're brutal. I
Mm,
think the good one, the ones that are worth doing are only the ones that you can progress with the club. Because even if you get a good promoter, even if you don't win it, or go, that act's got something about them. We'll book her, we'll book him,
mm.
because they can see good material. Competitions is such a strange one. I mean, it's a weird one. If you win it, it can open the door for you. But comedy shouldn't be about competitions. It's so subjective as an art form. Who likes what,
Yeah.
So it's a weird one. And a lot of the time when it comes to competitions now, it isn't about who's funniest. They're looking at going, what can we do with that person that we can't do with that person? All right, they might not be as good, but that kind of ticks the box that we're
So
after
you
at the
were box
moment.
ticking here.
Oh fuck yeah, yeah. Especially in the last, there's a lot of that goes on in competitions. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, they won't ever say it, but people are looking for.
people ain't blind, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that, well, Chris Goldman sorted that one out anyway. So he's got that one covered. I know Chris very well. He would laugh at that, don't worry. But yeah, there's an awful lot of, it's in TV, and again, that's why the internet's very useful. The fun is funny, and
Yeah.
so you can bypass all the box ticking that goes on, and it's a real shame that that does go on, because it's not really that necessary anymore, because there's comics from every single walk of life who are really, really good.
Mm.
But so yeah, but it still does go on. No
Yeah.
doubt.
What's your thoughts now on how Edinburgh Fringe has progressed over the years?
Regressed, I would say. Regressed. But again, you know, I used to live in Edinburgh. I lived there for 5 years. So the way that the festivals change, you can go to Edinburgh and make money. And a great example, Mark Simmons has done, I think this is his 17th year of doing Edinburgh. Always done, uh, never played one of the big so-called venues where you have to pay thousands. And there's a lot of comics from TV who will do those rooms now, those smaller rooms, because they can ram it. They're going to make a lot of money every day, and they're not paying out thousands of pounds to the players. And so they've all had their finger up, but everyone's asked for the last 15 to 20 years. The only people making any money in those big venues are the venues. The
Yeah.
ones who are making, the ones who are getting their finger up their arse are the acts.
Mm.
And so the free fringe is brilliant, and you can go up and you can do all right at that, and you can still get noticed if that's what it's about. That said, Edinburgh's who's going to get noticed is really sorted out way before anybody steps on the train to go to Edinburgh. So, but
So do
it's
you think
brilliant.
social media has made it more irrelevant now? Like there are easier gateways into the industry. Like it's not a rite of
Yeah,
passage anymore.
you don't have to do one of the big four and spend 10 to 15 grand doing it. You're better off spending that money on social media and getting yourself sorted out on that side of things, and then going up and doing free fringe and packing a room of 30 to 40 people every day, or the liquid rooms, what's that, 120 people,
Mm.
and you can make
Yeah.
a lot. You can make
Okay. So being someone who's been around for sort of 25 years, if somebody was looking to get into comedy, this day and age, what advice would you give them?
um well, just quickly on the Edinburgh thing,
Oh,
go and do Edinburgh, because Edinburgh's fantastic. Edinburgh's fantastic, but go understand why you're going there. When I do Edinburgh, I haven't done it for 3 years now, but when I do Edinburgh, my remit is I get to do stuff that I can't do in the circuit. I like doing weird stuff when I do Edinburgh. So,
Venga Boys.
huh?
Like
Oh,
Venga Boys.
that's funny enough. I was supporting Lou did a first preview for her next tour the other day, and I finished it in gold hot pants and a silver vest doing bodybuilding. But I can't do that in a club, but I can do that in that environment because people expect that. When I do Edinburgh, I do a lot of weird shit in Edinburgh, and it's fantastic because it sets me free. But aside from the weird shit, my thing is it makes me write, and if I can come out of Edinburgh with a new 20 that I can then take into the clubs for the year, then that's paid itself off massively. So understand why you're going to Edinburgh. And the main reason you should be going is to become a better comic, and you will become a better comic, believe me. Whether it goes well for you or whether it's bad, because Edinburgh can be an incredibly lonely place, but you'll come out a better comic, 100%. But my advice to new comics would be, get on stage, watch other comics, get to the gig, watch the night, see how just don't come in, do your 10 and fuck off. Because you've got to learn about how people play a room.
Okay. No, I wholeheartedly agree on that. When you said with Edinburgh, like, you might be able to, create a new 20 minutes for the year. When it comes to new material, how many times would you do a new joke until you either say, yeah, that's part of the arsenal now, rule of three, yeah?
3 times.
Rule of three,
free strikes. It gets free strikes.
Is that 3 different rooms or 3 times in general?
Yeah, for probably 3 different rooms. And I got a new bit that I've actually binned after 2 because it's just I got. Here's another thing about
what is it? What is it?
It's a long story. It's a long story about a window cleaner, and it's a true story. I had a window cleaner come around that I didn't want, and I'd made this excuse that if I'm not in, don't do it, right? Don't come on the house. So I was upstairs. I played a lot of poker online, and all of a sudden, I clatter out the back. It's the window cleaner. So I've ducked down, thinking I can sneak out the room, right? And then as I look up, I duck down. I look at my screen, and I've got dealt 2 kings.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And I've been waiting all day. I've been doing shit in the poker, and I'm thinking I can't fucking chuck 2 kings. So I'm just like this. And then he puts the ladder up against the window, and it's literally there. So I have to sit back up and go. And he comes up, and he's there. And I go, mate, I thought I told you to knock. And he goes, oh, I just thought I'd come and do it. So I goes, well, look, anyway, what? And then the ladder went from underneath him, right? So I saw this face. This bloke's on ladder. He just went, and his hands grabbed the window like that, and then his head went down, and then so it was like a cartoon, and he fucking hit the deck, and I'm dying laughing, but he's in a lot of pain. This fella's in a lot of pain, and he's going, "Oh, you got to come down, call an ambulance." So I go to get up, and then the flop comes, which is the next 3 cards.
I'm a poker player. I know about your Cowboys.
So I've got another king, so I've got 3 kings. So I'm like, oh, hang on, I can't play it. Hang on, mate, I'll be down in a minute, right? And he's screaming in pain. I'm like, fuck, I've got 3 kings. And I've got, are you really hurt, mate? Because, and seriously, he's like, you got to call an ambulance. So I had to chuck them, right? I wasn't even playing for money. I was playing for points, right? So I'm fuming. So I go downstairs, and cut a long story short, he tells me his back hurts. I ring the ambulance, and they send a motorbike, an ambulance, and then a helicopter over the house. And all I'm thinking about is I chucked 3 kings. He broke his pelvis, the fella. So that was the story. I've tried it twice. I've tried to write it, and it's just fucking tanked.
You think some jokes are better as like pub talk?
Yeah, that's definitely. I told it. Do you know Bethany Black? Do you know Bethany Black? She stuff in. I was telling this story in the dressing room, and she was crying with laughter. And I was going, "Do you think that's? I think it's really funny." The other comics were looking at me like, "You just left the bloke because of a game of cards. Look, broke his pelvis." I'm like,
I was laughing. I was laughing at that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? 3 kings. I didn't ask him to come in, but anyway, it doesn't work. That's only had 2 outings. It's not getting a 3rd.
Are you been watching the poker now? The online, the World Series?
I've not. I've stopped playing. I used to. I used to play so much that I thought I played at a certain level for money for a while, And
Yeah.
once I make this much money, I'm going to step up. But I
Yeah.
think I can do this alongside stand up. This can be a second daytime where I can make proper money on top of the gigs. And then I stepped up a level and I got wiped out in a week. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not that good at this. But
Man,
I love it.
I don't do cash games. I do tournaments, but it's all about the stamina. And it's like a completely different beast.
Totally. I was doing the Glee in Cardiff, and there was a daytime poker competition at the casino. And again, bide your time, bide your time, bide your time. And I got to the final four, so I'm in the money.
Yeah.
You got to like 7 o'clock, and I just made the mistake of going, fuck, I'm meant to be at a gig in an hour. And the other three went, oh, yeah, take our time.
We got 50 big blinds. We're good. You can fuck off.
And I chuck it. I still won a chunk of money, but yeah, all about patience. Comedy's all about the patience. You got to be patient.
I think you've got to enjoy the whole package. You've got to enjoy the driving. You've got to enjoy, the times you tank, the times you win. Like, yeah, the second it stops being fun for you, then
it's got to be fun. If it becomes a job, there's probably time to get out of it. I think if you're like me, if you're a jobbing comedian and that's all you do, that's all I do for a living. But when it becomes a job, I haven't had a job for 25 years. If it becomes a job, sometimes it feels like a slog, and you go through periods, and then you get a new bit, and then all of a sudden it's the best thing in the world, and you get a really good solid new bit. I've got 2 really nice solid new bits at the moment, so I can't wait to get in the car and go to a gig. I'm really excited about going to a gig, although they didn't go that well last night, to be fair, but they've been going really well. But yeah, if it becomes a job, it's time to get out of it. Especially someone at my age, it's time to get out of it.
Okay. Eddie, I always end the podcast with my favourite question. It's a two-parter. I don't really care about the first bit, but I always have to ask out of politeness. What has been your favourite moment on stage? And if it beats the Vinger Boys bit, I'm going to love this. What time did we bomb the hardest?
My favourite time, and is the first time I closed Camden Jongleurs. Because at the end of the gig, I'd had a good gig, and at the end of the gig, I was on stage and I said, "Listen, ladies and gentlemen, 8 years ago, I walked in this room and watched other comics, and I said to myself, fuck me, what must that be like to close this gig? And tonight, for the first time ever, I have." And the whole room stood up and went fucking, and it still brings, because that's my best moment in stand-up. My biggest bomb, fuck man, there's been so many. And that's another thing. You get when comics say, "Oh, I've never bombed." Fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Always bombed. Here's a bit of advice to new comics as well. And this really it annoys me when established comics are rude to new comics or just sort of dismissive. Always be good in the dress. Always be okay in the dressing room, right? There's a lot of bellends around, and not many. It's a brilliant industry. 99% of people are great, but there's a few bellends who give it. Always be nice in the dressing room, because you'll come across those people again, and never ever be in a dressing room giving it Johnny Big Bollocks before you go on, because the amount of times I've done it when I was starting out, and I've seen other comics do it, and then you walk out on stage and you tank, and you have to come back into that dressing room, you look a right twat. You look a right twat. I'm trying to think of my biggest. Download. I did download a long time ago about
Kerrang, yeah.
The
Kerrang
festival.
download.
Yeah.
Woo! So I'm a rocker.
This is when it was real full on. I did it this year. And guess who was closing the Wednesday night?
I know, yeah, fucking Venga Boys are coming.
Fucking Venga Boys. Download. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah. But when I did it, it was all like fucking Slayer and all those when I did it.
Yeah.
And I've never done this before or since. I went to download. I'm wearing a white t-shirt at download and a baseball cap. And I went on stage in that. I've never gone on stage with a hat on, right? And I walked out, white t-shirt, baseball cap, jeans, and someone shouted, "It's a fucking chav." And I went, "Who the fuck said that? Do you want to come to the front of the stage and say that?" Put my hands out like that. And then I was standing there thinking, "Oh, mate, you're a chav. You're a fucking chav." And there's 1,000 people in this tent looking at you going, "He's a fucking chav." That it was so bad. I had to try and get, and there was no coming back. There was no coming back from it. And my brother, who's a producer of heavy metal music, he'd come with me because he wanted to go and see some of his mates backstage. And I walked off stage and he goes, "Come on, back to the car." And we went straight back to the car and drove back to London. It was so bad. Yeah. Talk about reading a fucking room or a tent. Yeah, that was brutal. That was brutal.
Oh, God, I haven't been downloaded since '08, I think was the last time I went. I always find it weird, the etiquette of mosh pits. Like,
Well,
they'll like smash the shit out of each other. If someone gets the deck, like everyone always like backs up. Else
picks
to
it
show
up.
you, back up, you good, you're alive. Yeah, all right. Let's continue. Oh,
I mean, it's not really my kind of stuff, really, but yeah.
no, that's no. I like. I reckon that places third in times I've heard bomb. My favourite one is still Alex Mitchell, the one I posted today. It was the Britain's Got Talent finalist last year. He's a heavy queer comic, and he was doing his set, and 50 Burnley builders walk in and throw a fish at him.
Oh, yeah, that's not great.
You go back from that. Eddie, it's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you ever so much for coming on the pod, dude. I've really enjoyed this.
A pleasure. And listen, it's the best. It's the best thing to do. It's the best thing to do. Get on stage and do it. But if you do and it goes well, you'll get the bug, and it's very, very, very difficult to give it up. But just get on stage and do it. And the other thing is, you might be funny in the pub. You might be, or you might have. All my mates are far funnier than me. When I started, and then I come across some. I went to football and one of my mates went, "What are you doing now?" And I went, "Oh, I've started doing stand up." He went, "You're not funny," and I'm not. Off stage, I'm not the one who's funny in the pub, but being on stage is very, very different because you learn the tricks of the trade and you learn how to tell a joke.
That's
Yeah,
one thing I'm not a fan of. Being a new comedian, everyone's trying to be funny off stage as well. No one seems to
yeah,
be like themselves. Everything's
yeah.
got to be a joke. Where I think most comedians, we are mostly introverts. We are mostly like, you know,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's that you do still get that. You still get very competitive in the dressing room with,
you do,
but
yeah.
yeah, yeah, you still do that. But I'm not. As I say, I'm not really like that. I'm not, as I said earlier, I'm not even the funniest in here. So I've got Louise here, so she's, I get put in my place every single fucking day, mate. Don't worry.
Well, it must be mad two comedians like together. Like,
If people ask us that, we talk, we do gig together. But when Lou goes on tour, I do her support because during COVID she built up quite a following and online. And so everyone knows what to expect. But the thing with Louise and I is we're not in competition in any way, shape, or form. We're very different comics. We take the piss out of each other, but we're not nasty with each other because that's not what we are. We don't want to be that couple. But yeah, the key to us is we're not in competition with each other.
do you help each other write jokes?
Um, we just laugh a lot, and then that's where an idea comes. And yeah, so if something comes out, I go, I can do something with that, or you
Yeah.
could do it. So, but yeah,
Well,
Lou's not one.
it
Being
must be
told
nice
what.
because like you've both got your own personal cheerleaders in each other.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I suppose so. We just laugh a lot here, and that sparks stuff off usually. So
Oh, that's beautiful,
yeah,
man. That's beautiful. All right. I
very,
love that.
very.
But Eddie, thank you ever so much for coming on, brother. I've really enjoyed it.
Been a pleasure, mate. Absolutely. I've done a lot of podcasts. This is right up the top. I enjoyed
Oh,
myself immensely.
I love that. Cheers, mate. Well, if I'm ever
By the way,
I'm gonna clip that bit just on loop 24/7 now for my own ego.
by the way, I know this is terrible. I'm going to give myself a plug. Lou and I do a podcast called Tough Gig
Sorry.
Comedy Podcast.
So, Eddie,
That's all
do
right.
you do a podcast?
Yes, we do. And what we do is we're very honest. We're very honest about our gigs, and we just talk about the gigs we've done in the past week, how we did, what the other comics were like. And we're both. Let's just say, I love seeing comedy. I love watching comedy. I love new comics coming through or people that I haven't seen. So we talk about the comics we've worked with and what we've done in the last week and what it's like on the road, as well as other shit. So yeah, Tough Gig Comedy Podcast. Get on that.
If you can't remember that, there'll be in the description link below will be a link to this podcast. Or it might be that way, it might be that way or that way, but it'll be there, guys. Okay?
No worries.
All right.
Thanks a lot, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Cheers, brother. Have a good one.